This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello, I'm Gamechi Samandida, your news host for this hour. Join us as we bring you the newest stories and updates from Africa. First, Kenya. Kenya has been steadily positioning itself as a financial and investment hub in Africa with the establishment of the Nairobi International Financial Center, NIFC, aimed at attracting global investors and strengthening regional competitiveness. The NIFC serves as a platform to connect international capital with opportunities in Africa, particularly in infrastructure, technology and sustainable finance. Qatar, through the Qatar Financial Center, has similarly worked to expand its international footprint, diversifying its economy beyond hydrocarbons and promoting Doha as a global financial and business destination. The QFC offers a robust legal and regulatory framework that facilitates cross-border investments and business operations. The new partnership between the two financial centers builds on Kenya's economic diplomacy strategy under President William Ruto's administration, which seeks to deepen relations with Gulf nations. It also aligns with Qatar's goal to enhance financial linkages with African markets, especially in fintech and Islamic finance sectors. This collaboration is expected to strengthen the flow of capital between Africa and the Gulf, promote innovation in digital finance, and open new avenues for investment that can support inclusive economic growth across both regions. As momentum grows for reforming the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, to make it more representative and equitable, Zimbabwe has joined the call, linking the push to its own social and economic progress. Speaking at the World Summit for Social Development in Doha, President Emmerson Mnangagwa said the current global governance system must evolve to reflect the voices of developing nations. He urged the inclusion of Africa in key decision-making structures. Development is not a privilege but a universal right, he said, reaffirming Zimbabwe's bid for a non-permanent UN Security Council seat for 2027 to 2028 and calling for a more just, inclusive and balanced world order.
Let the Doha Declaration reignite hope for the main peoples of the world, still waiting for justice and dignity. Let it affirm that development is not a privilege, but a universal right. Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none. We stand ready to work with all nations to build peaceful justice, just, fair, more inclusive and a sustainable world where no one and no place is left behind. To this end, Zimbabwe has submitted its bid to join the United Nations Security Council as a non-permanent member for the term 2027 to 2028.
Mnangagwa highlighted Zimbabwe's achievements, cutting poverty from 62 to 38% since 1995 and boosting school enrollment to 88% despite sanctions and climate pressures. The African Union, AU, on Tuesday urged member states to take decisive action to conserve nature, highlighting biodiversity as central to Africa's survival and prosperity. Speaking at the first Africa Biodiversity Summit in Gaborone, Botswana, African Union Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment, Moses Vilakati, stressed that biodiversity is the foundation for our economies, food systems, health and cultural identity. He called for strong policies, investment in nature-based solutions, and the empowerment of youth and indigenous communities to lead conservation efforts in line with Agenda 2063. Vilakazi emphasized moving beyond declaration to concrete actions, while Botswana's Minister of Environment and Tourism, Winter Molotsi, said the Maputo Convention on Nature and Natural Resources must translate into tangible results on the ground. The convention, adopted in 2003 and revised in 2013, entered into force in 2016 and guides national frameworks for conservation. The summit, themed Leveraging Biodiversity for Africa's Prosperity, runs from November 2 to November 5 and is expected to adopt the Africa Biodiversity Summit Declaration on Wednesday. The summit coincides with the first conference of parties to the Maputo Convention on Nature and Natural Resources, which provides the legal and regulatory framework guiding national conservation efforts.
This is Africa, the cradle of humanity, the frontier of the future, a land of visionaries, creators and pioneers, a continent of unstoppable energy where innovation meets tradition, where voices rise, loud and fearless.
I am an African.
This is the heartbeat of a billion people, diverse, bold, united by a single purpose to tell our own stories in our own way. No borders, no barriers, no filters. A new era of African storytelling is here. From every corner of the continent, from the bustling cities to the quiet villages, we tell Africa's story by Africans for the world. This is the land of a rising Africa, where Africa speaks and the world listens. This is why today we bring you POA, Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Botswana's Minister of Communications and Innovation, Devin Tisher, on Tuesday announced that the Southern African country plans to launch a new Earth observation satellite. Regarding Botswana's satellite development, the plan is to launch BOTSAT-2 to augment BOTSAT-1 achievement made so far, said Tisher in an address at the Parliament. Commercialization of BOTSAT-1 data will continue to support funding efforts BOTSAT-2 and create both upstream and downstream entrepreneurship opportunities, he noted. Tisher said engagements have already begun as Botswana continues to seek opportunities for collaboration and cooperation with other satellite owners. Moreover, he said technological solutions and innovation will be explored to unlock opportunities for job and wealth creation in Botswana. Botswana's first national satellite, BOTSAT-1, was launched in March and serves as a powerful tool for environmental monitoring, precision agriculture, urban planning and disaster management. President of Côte d'Ivoire's Constitutional Council, Chantal Camara, on Tuesday officially confirmed incumbent President Alassane Ouattara as the winner of the presidential election held on October 25 during a ceremony in Abidjan, the country's largest city. Candidate Alassane Ouattara is declared elected in the first round as President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, Camara announced in the statement. According to the Constitutional Council, Ouattara secured 89.77% of the votes. According to the country's Independent Electoral Commission, Ouattara garnered 3,759,030 votes out of a total of 4,187,318 ballot cast, with turnout reaching 50.1% among the 8.7 million registered voters in Côte d'Ivoire and abroad. Ouattara, 83, previously served as governor of the Central Bank of West African States and as deputy managing director of the International Monetary Fund. He was Prime Minister of Côte d'Ivoire from 1990 to 1993 and won the 2010 presidential election, officially taking office the following year. He was re-elected in 2015 and again in 2020. Moving to business, Tunisia's declared investment rose by 41.5% year-on-year in the first 9 months of 2025, reaching 5.97 billion Tunisian dinars, about $2 billion, according to the Tunisia Investment Authority, TIA. The surge, the TIA said, was mainly driven by 3 major renewable energy projects confirmed in September worth a combined 1.08 billion dinars. The investments are expected to create more than 74,000 jobs, up 17.8% from the same period in 2024. The growth comes as Tunisia seeks to attract more private and foreign investment to boost its struggling economy, which has been under pressure from inflation, youth unemployment, and fiscal challenges. The government has prioritized renewable energy and industrial expansion to diversify its economic base and reduce dependence on imported energy. By sector, industry accounted for 30% of declared investments, followed by renewable energy at 28%, services 17%, agriculture 15%, and tourism 10%. The African Development Bank is stepping up its engagement in Central Africa with €58.6 million investment in Equatorial Guinea to boost youth employment and skills development. The move also strengthens the bank's partnership with the Republic of Congo to advance economic diversification and regional integration. The first phase of the project to strengthen human capital in support of economic and social inclusion, PARCH1, will train nearly 2,000 young people, 45% women, create 4,500 jobs and establish 500 youth and women-led businesses. The project also includes the construction of 2 climate-resilient polytechnic institutes in Mongomo and Luba, as well as internship incubators and entrepreneurship support programs. Lendre Basole, the bank's director for Central Africa, said the initiative brings the gap between infrastructure and the skills needed to transform it into sustainable wealth. Equatorial Guinea's Deputy Minister for Finance, Pedro Abeso Obiang Eyang, described the project as a strategic investment in the future of our youth and a foundation for a diversified economy. As of August 2025, the bank's portfolio in Equatorial Guinea includes 5 operations worth about €85.6 million, mainly in agriculture and governance. Next, let's check the current weather forecast. Before we wrap up today's news coverage, let's remind you of POA In Depth that will come to you following the evening news. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned for more updates and insights. Goodbye for now.